is awesome, especially A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Didn't you love it? I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Except for that one thing. So go ahead and watch that one video where I talk about the one thing I didn't like. Well, definitely the one thing I really, really didn't like in the finale. And that was, well, the silly music, but that's another ball game. What did you think of A Night of Seven Kingdoms? I do have that out there. So in general, go ahead and pop in and tell me your thoughts about it. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What parts did you like? What parts did you not like? Think it's definitely one of the best things that we've seen, and it's teaching people that, you know what, there is more to the story than Game of Thrones, especially because people keep forgetting Game of Thrones is not the end of the story. It's all George R. R. Martin's fault, and I will give him grief till, Kingdom Come about it, but these Duncan Egg stories have been around. They've been around. They've been around. And we are now on the Sword. Yes, we are. The second book. And I'm just going to go through all of them. I'm just not going to stop. I'm not going to wait until the next season comes out, obviously. But this is the basis for season 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So it's good times, good times. Also, a little while back, a year or two ago, I read them for the first time. And Steve Kenobi and I did review them. So you can find that in the playlist. Well, look who's here. It is Gorilla's Random Thoughts. He is saying kapla to you too. And I am waving and reminding everyone that I do have memberships now. So if that is something that you might be interested to help me support the channel, I would definitely be appreciative, and you will get shout outs and all sorts of good stuff. Look at everyone that's coming in. So good to see you. Thank you for being here. We're going to be continuing on with the sword. The sword. Gosh, I'm not going to say it again. So I said it right the first time. Previously on The Sworn Sword. Duncan Egg reminding their own business. This is into Aerys' reign, so we know that Valar is dead. His 2 children were already dead. They were stillborn. So no more heir to the throne there. So it goes to the brother after King Daeron the Good dies. They die in the spring sickness right after the events of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So yikes. Now, obviously, there's going to be spoilers for season 2 or A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So if that is not something that you want to do, wait around and catch it next time. It will be on my playlist. Actually, right now, these are currently on my Night of the Seven Kingdoms playlist. So 2 years later, they went to visit their brother, the Meister brother. So, who measured Dunk. So now we know exactly how tall Dunk is, and I can just see him doing that. And remember that not all of the brothers of Egg suck. Well, actually, remember, Daeron only sucks because he is being driven mad by his dreams, and perhaps Aerion is the same. We don't know anything about the sisters so far, but I just think it's kind of cool that we have it that in their little adventures they went to meet Aemon Targaryen at the Citadel, and we know that he's eventually going to end up on the wall and meet Jon Snow. So, in any case, that is what happened previously, and there's lots of bad things happening. People are blaming it on the whole kinslaying incident that happened at Ashford Meadow. Perhaps not, but definitely there is a drought. But it's getting worse and worse. Why is it getting worse and worse? Well, I'm glad you asked. Turns out Duncan, with this douchebag, I don't really like him, the night that he is with, they go to check out the source of perhaps the problem over by the Red Widow's land. And oh my goodness gracious, guess what happened? There is a dam. And as they say, ooh, wars have happened over dams. And Sir Bennis is the name of the douche canoe. Ooh, boy. So it's pretty intense. And what is it like? All we want is our water. Tell your lady that, says Dunk. Oh, we'll tell her, sir, that we will. That was a cliffhanger from the last time. Now, if you do have the Night of the Seven Kingdoms book where they're all together in one, it says page 132. Man, we only got through about 10 pages, but there was so much material. And welcome everyone that's coming in. If you haven't already shared, and subscribed early and often, please go ahead and do so and let me know. Make yourself known. What did you think of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? So after that little confrontation, they're going back through Watts Wood. Oh, he is the sworn sword currently of Sir Eustace. There's a bunch of flies and all sorts of stuff buzzing around. It's very apocalyptic looking. The air was still, it was suffocating. Yeah, I bet you it's hot. At least in Dorne, the days were dry, and at night it grew so cold I shivered in my cloak. In the Reach, the nights were hardly cooler than the days, even this far north. When ducking down beneath an overhanging limb, because he's so tall, Dunk plucked a leaf and crumpled it between his fingers, and it falls apart. There was no need to cut that man, he told Bennis, because in the last time he cut him in the cheek. A tickle on the cheek was all it was to teach him to mind his tongue. I should have cut his bloody throat for him, only then the rest would have run like rabbits, and we'd have had to ride down the lot of 'em. You'd killed 20 men? Dunk said, incredulous. 22. That's 2 more than all your fingers and your toes, lunk. I don't like this guy. You have to kill them all, else they go telling tales. Now, maybe Bennis knows something about it, so that's why he didn't kill him, but cutting him on the cheek wasn't cool either. We should have told Sir Eustace the drought dried up his pissant little stream. Sir Eustace! You would have lied to him. Aye, and why not? Who's to tell him any different? The flies? I don't know. Does Bennis have the right of it? Is he correct? Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Because if he had lied, maybe we wouldn't be having all of this trouble. Sir Eustace never leaves the tower except to see the boys down in the blackberries. A sworn sword owes his lord the truth, and this is why we love Dunk. He is so honest. He believes in his vows. He believes in his vows. And what it means to be a knight. There's truce and truce, lunk. Quit calling him lunk. So I'm going to punch you in the face. Some don't serve. The gods make droughts. A man can't do a bloody... Man, he's saying some really nasty little words here. So, basically he's saying a man can't do anything about the gods, which is true. The Red Widow, though, we tell Useless that bitch dog took his water, he'll feel honor-bound to take it back. That is true. Wait and see. He'll think he's got to do something. He should. Our small folk need that water for their crops. Dunk. Our small folk. Sir Dennis brayed his laughter. Was I off having a squat when Sir Useless made him... Oh, if he says Sir Useless one more time, so he's like, was I off having a squat when Sir Useless made you his heir? How many small folk you figure you got? 10? And that's counting Squinty Jane's half-wit son that don't know which end of the axe to hold. Go make knights of every one, and we'll have half as many as the widow. And never mind her squires and her archers and the rest. He's basically saying we do not have enough men for this. Never mind her squires. I said that. You'd need both hands and both feet to count them all, and your bald head boy's fingers and toes too. Hey, keep Egg's name out of your mouth. I don't need toes to count. Dunk was sick of the heat, the flies, and the Brown Knight's company. I agree. He may have ridden with Sir Arlen once, but that was years and years ago. The man has grown mean and false and craven. He put his heels to his horse and trotted on ahead to put the smell behind him. And I think the smell was more than the smell. It was also the smell of this guy being Sir Douchebag. Yeah. So get a little bit here that he did ride with Sir Arlen, and that's possibly why he's there, or that he's there. But he's really mean-spirited. And though he does have a point, we can't go up against the Red Widow's men. And now you started a war because now we have to do something about it. Or maybe a little battle. The whole thing, our men, that's what Duncan's showing, that when he feels like he's sworn to this Lord's house and to his lands, that it is important, that it is his, even though he doesn't own it. But that guy is making fun of him, saying, oh, are you the heir now? It's like, well, yes, he is. He's a sworn sword to him. It's like his What a good guy. I love him. 2 thumbs up for Sir Duncan the Tall. Standfast was a castle only by courtesy. Standfast is a castle of you know who, Sir Eustace. Though it stood bravely atop a rocky hill and could be seen for leagues around, it was no more than a tower house. I've been around so many of those kind of tower houses in Ireland. So much fun. A partial collapse a few centuries ago had required some rebuilding. So the north and west faces were pale gray stone above the windows and the old black stone below. See, I wonder when they're doing this in season 2, are they going to actually use a tower house from Ireland? Now, they are filming in Northern Ireland. So, frankly, I don't know. I've never been to Northern Ireland. I'm sure they have some. Let's see. Turrets had been added to the roofline during the repair, but only on the sides that were rebuilt. The other 2 corners crouched ancient stone grotesques, so badly abraded by wind and weather that it's hard to say what they had been. The pine wood roof was flat, but badly warped and prone to leaks. And I'm positive that when it would get cold and wet, it would be very cold and wet. A crooked path led from the foot of the hill up to the tower, so narrow it could only be ridden single file. So they're giving us a lay of the land. He's describing for us this castle, this very small castle, that even though he is a quote unquote small lord, that Duncan still believes he is a lord and owes him just as much were he the prince of the realm. Of course, we all know he has a prince of the realm with him. Dunk led the way on the ascent with Bennis just behind. He could see Egg above them standing on a jut of rock in his floppy straw hat. How cute is his floppy straw hat going to be? And yes, I will be making an egg doll with that cute little hat once I finish Sir Duncan. And I think I have about 10 Sir Duncan outfits I'm going to make because I am going to make him in the Kingsguard armor. So they reined up in front of the little Dob and Waddle stable. So it's a little stable. Hello, everyone coming in. Give me a wave. Let yourself be known. Like, share, and subscribe if you like. Half hidden under a misshapen heap of purple moss. The old man's gray gelding was in one of the stalls next to Meister. Meister is Egg's little pony. Is his little donkey or no mule? I think. Gee whiz, I don't remember. Egg and Sam Stoops had gotten the wine inside. Yay, Egg! Hens were wandering the yard. Egg trotted over. Did you find what happened to the stream? The red widows dammed it up, and that's what's going to cause all hail to break loose. He gave Thunder's reins to Egg. Don't let him drink too much at once. No, sir, I won't. Boy, Sir Bennis called. You can take my horse as well. Oh, boy. Egg gave him an insolent look. I'm not your squire. That tongue of his will get him hurt one day, Dunk thought. You'll take his horse, or you'll get a clout in the ear. Well, look who is here. We have Steve Kenobi, all the way from the north. All the way from the north. We are in part 2 of The Sworn Sword, and we are reviewing it. The first part of it, again, I give it maybe an 8 out of 10, setting things up. The second part, and again, I'm kind of setting them in natural breaks. It's fun. It's fun so far, but I love the way that they're describing the castle, and the writing is so good, and I can imagine exactly what it looks like. And of course, we know that the Red Widow is going to be a force to contend with. Egg made a sullen face, but did as he was bid. Yeah, so he obeys. Oh boy, I'm going to get really mad. As Egg reaches for the bridle, Sir Dennis hawked and spat. Ooh, so gross. A glob of glistening red phlegm struck the boy between 2 toes. He gave the brown knight an icy look. You spit on my foot, sir. Bennis clambered down to the ground. Aye, next time I'll spit in your face. I'll have none of your bloody tongue. Gee whiz, if he knew he was talking like this to a Targaryen. Ooh, boy. Dunk could see the anger in the boy's eyes. Tin the horse's egg, he said before things got any worse. We need to speak with Sir Eustace. Yeah, because crap's hitting the fan. The only entrance into Standfast was through an oak and iron door 20 feet above them. The bottom steps were blocks of smooth black stone, so worn they were bowl-shaped in the middle. Higher up, they gave way to a steep wooden stair that could be swung up like a drawbridge in times of trouble. Dunk shooed the hens aside and climbed 2 steps at a time. Standfast was bigger than it appeared. Its deep vaults and cellars occupied a good part of the hill on which it perched. Above ground, the tower boasted 4 stories. The upper 2 had windows and balconies, the lower 2 only arrow slits, yes, for defense. It was cooler inside, but so dim that Dunk had to let his eyes adjust. Yeah, I've I've been in so many of those. Yeah, you walk inside, it's very, very dark. Because they didn't have big old windows. I remember from Ireland, for one thing, you'd freeze to death. And also, again, for defense, you had to be safe. Sam Stoop's wife was on her knees by the hearth, sweeping out the ashes. Is Sir Eustace above or below? Dunk asked her. Up, sir. The old woman was so hunched that her head was lower than her shoulders. He just come back from visiting the boys down in the blackberries. Now, at first, when they were talking about visiting the boys in the blackberries, I was like, what's going on with these boys in the blackberries? Why? You know what? Thank you, George R. R. Martin. You're going to tell us. The boys were Eustace Osgray's sons, Edwin, Harold, Adam. Edwin and Harold had been knights, Adam a young squire. They had died on the red grass field 15 years ago at the end of the Blackfire Rebellion. Yeah, so in the midst of all these little tales, we're getting signs of something far bigger. They died good deaths, fighting bravely for the king, Sir Eustace told Dunk, and I brought them home and buried them among the blackberries. His wife was buried there as well. Whenever the old man breached a new cask of wine, he went down the hill to pour each of his boys a libation. To the king, he would call out loudly just before he drank. Okay, can we stop a minute and just cry? How sad is this? How melancholy, but how relatable. Sir Eustace's bedchamber occupied the 4th floor of the tower, with his solar just below. Hope I am pronouncing all these things correctly. If I am not, I am sure you will all correct me, and I welcome that. And as you are coming in, if you would like to comment on what did you think of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms TV show, please go ahead and let me know, because it is definitely appropriate. And have you read The Sworn Sword? What would you give him? What would you give rather it all? What score? So Dunk went up and found him, puttering among the chests and barrels. The cellar's thick gray walls were hung with rusted weaponry and captured banners, prizes from battles fought long centuries ago, and now remembered by no one but Sir Eustace. Oh, the memory of oral tradition, oral stories, oral history. Half the banners were mildewed, and all were badly faded and covered with dust. Their once bright colors gone to gray and green. Sir Eustace was scrubbing the dirt off a ruined shield with a rag when Dunk came up the steps. Venice the douche followed. I said the douche, that's not in the text. Followed fragrant at his heels. The old knight's eyes seemed to brighten a little at the sight of Dunk. And don't all of our eyes brighten at the sight of Dunk, because we love him. We love him here at Miss Martin Muses. My good giant, he declared. Oh my gosh, be still my heart. My good giant is what Sir Eustace calls him, and brave Sir Bennis. Sir Bennis, he sucks. Come have a look at this. I found it at the bottom of that chest, a treasure, though fearfully neglected. And what treasure is it? We're going to find out. We're going to get a nice little story here. But first, I am taking a sip of coffee, decaf, because issues. Look, Don't drink too much caffeine because it will have issues. It'll give you problems. I wonder, have we got the cast? Who has been cast as Sir Eustace? Let me look that up. If you know if Sir Eustace has been cast, we know that the Red Widow has been cast, and oh, hail, she looks awesome. She looks very good, and we're going to see a lot with the two of them with my man. Okay, Sir Eustace Osgrey, actor. Okay, as of it has not been formally announced by HBO. All right, looks like it has not happened. Or if there's speculation. I wonder what the speculation is. Well, let me know. Well, you know what? Speculation is nothing but speculation. Let us continue. Hello, everyone coming in. What are you looking forward to in season 2 of The Night of Seven Kingdoms? What did you think of the first season of The Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Do you think that we're going to be getting some more flashbacks? Do you think we're going to get to see, oh my gosh, are we going to get to see Master Aemon? Are we going to see him at Old Town? I think that it'd be great. Do believe that they need to do that. We need to see it. It's in the book, so do it. Ira, you hear me? Even if it's a flashback. Do you think they're also going to flashback with Maekar? All right. So, what was the treasure that he found fearfully neglected? Why? It was everyone who's awesome that's coming in the chat. Hello. It was a shield, or what remained of one. There was little enough, or that was little enough. Almost half of it had been hacked away, and the rest was gray and splintered. The iron rim was solid rust, and the wood was full of wormholes. A few flecks of paint still clung to it, but too few to suggest a sigil. "My lord," said Dunk. "Yay, I love it." The Osgrays had not been lords for centuries, yet it pleased Sir Eustace to be styled so, echoing as it did the past glories of his house. The little lion's shield, the old man rubbed at the rim, and some flakes of rust came off. "Sir Wilbert Osgrey bore this at the battle where he died. I am sure you know the tale." "No, my lord," said Bennis. "We don't, as it happens. The little lion, did you say? What, was he a dwarf?" "Okay. You, boy, I punch him in the face." "Certainly not. Sir Wilbert was a tall and powerful man and a great knight. The name was given him in childhood as the youngest of 5 brothers. In his day there were still 7 kings in the 7 kingdoms, and Highgarden and the Rock were oft at war. The Green Kings ruled us then, the Gardeners. They were of the blood of old Garth Greenhand, and a green hand upon a white field was their kingly banner." Getting some history. I love history. I love lore. Giles III took his banners east to war against the Storm King, and Wilbert's brothers all went with him. For in those days, I think I'm saying that right, Check Lion, always flew beside the Green Hand when the King of the Reach went forth to battle. There's also really cool illustrations in this book. I don't know if I can bring them up or not. Maybe I will. But either way, go ahead and buy it. Yet it happened that while King Giles was away, the King of the Rock saw his chance to tear a bite out of the Reach, so he gathered up a host of Westermen and came down upon us. The Osgrays were the marshals of the North March, so it fell to the little lion to meet them. It was the 4th King Lancel who led the Lannisters, it seems to me, or mayhaps the 5th. Sir Wilbert blocked King Lancel's path and bid him halt. "Come no farther," he said. "You are not wanted here. I forbid you to set foot upon the Reach." But the Lannister ordered all his banners forward. We got Lannisters! And so they fight and fight and fight. The Gold Lion and the... I don't know how to pronounce that. Chequy. The Lannister was armed with a Valyrian sword, and no common steel can match. So the little lion was hard pressed. So we got ourselves a big battle. I think that this probably will most certainly, not just, it will be a flashback. Won't this be a cool little flashback? I want this flashback. Yes, I do, Precious. Because they've got to fill out the episodes, like even only with 30 minutes, you got to add to this. These stories are not long at all. QUY. All right, and it's part of the sigil of House Osgrey. I'm going to see, how do you pronounce it? Pronunciation. It is pronounced Checky. If I'm wrong, blame Google. Everybody Googles here at Miss Martin Muses. Checky, the gold lion and the Checky. So they're sitting there fighting like badasses. The little lion, his shield was in ruin, hard pressed against this Valyrian sword. Yeah, we know all about the Valyrian steel, etc. Bleeding from a dozen grievous wounds with his own blade broken in his hand. What a badass. He threw himself headlong at his foe. King Lancel cut him near in half. Dang. But as he died, the little lion found the gap in the king's armor beneath his arm and plunged his dagger home. Woo! When their king died, the Westermen turned back and the Reach was saved. And everybody cheers. The crowd goes wild. Yeah, I need to see that. This will also be a cool way to show some fighting at the beginning of the season. I think that'll be really a lot of fun to see. So look at this story. "I, my lord," Bennis croaked, "we could use a man like that today. Dunking me at a look at your stream, dry as a bone, but not from drought." Oh no, here we go. He's gonna say it. The old man set the shield aside. "Tell me." He took a seat and indicated that they should do the same. And so the Sir Bennis, I won't call him Sir Douchebag too much often, he goes and tells him the whole thing, and the Sir Eustace is listening. And this is from Dunk's point of view. He's talking about that Sir Eustace, he must have been like really cool back in the day, but the very picture of chivalry, tall and broad and handsome. Time and grief had worked their will on him, but he was still unbent, a big-boned, broad-shouldered, barrel-chested man with features as strong and sharp as some old eagle. I'm sure they're going to get some awesome British Shakespearean-type dude to play this. His close-cropped hair had gone white as milk, but the thick mustache that hid his mouth remained an ashy gray. His eyebrows were the same color, the eyes beneath a paler shade of gray, full of sadness. So he's sad because he lost all his boys, he lost his wife, and he's all alone in this old castle. And as Bennis continues to tell what happened, his eyes are going to grow sadder still. "That stream has been known as a Checky water for 1,000 years or more," the old knight said. "I caught a fish there as a boy, and all my sons did the same. Alisand liked to splash in the shallows on hot summer days like this. Alisand had been his daughter, who had perished in the spring." So, dude, he had a daughter on top of that who died. Man, we need penicillin. "It was on the banks here that I kissed a girl for the first time." A cousin she was. "My uncle's youngest daughter of the Osgrays of Leafy Lake. They're all gone now, even her. This cannot be borne, sirs. The woman will not have my water." Damn right they won't. "She will not have my Checky water." "We going to war over some water, kids." "Damn spilt strong, my lord," Sir Douchebag said. "Too strong for me and Dunk to pull down in an hour, even with the bald-head boy to help." I swear if he says that one more time, I want him to find out about Dunk, rather Egg. I don't recall. I don't recall if he does. I don't think he does. I believe it's in the third book where Ake reveals himself for reasons. We're going to get there. Oh boy. And while Eustace is looking at this shield, Dunk says to him, well, hey, when we came upon the diggers, he's, of course, being very, very evasive. Don't trouble my lord with trifles, said Bennis. I taught one fool a lesson, that was all. Mm-hmm. See, this is where crap's going to hit the fan even more. Sir Eustace looked up sharply. Yeah, he knows what's up. What sort of lesson? With my sword, as it were, a little claret on his cheek. That's all it were, my lord. The old knight looked long at him. That was ill considered, sir. Oh, I'm going to start saying that. That was ill considered. The woman has a spider's heart. Okay, another reference to spider. I'm obsessed because of the whole spider thing and what the implications might be in the Winds of Winter if we ever get it. Stieg and I talk about that in the spoiler stream. So have a look at that. The whole theory about who the spider really is and how that connects with Summerhall. Ill considered. The woman has a spider's heart. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to make a doll of her too. I'm making dolls of everybody. Yeah, if you're not following me on X, go ahead and do so if you want to see some of my dolls. They're going to be coming up. And I am also going to be putting up a cute little thing I made for my mama. I surprised it with her yesterday. She was thrilled. They're talking about the Red Widow. She killed 3 of her husbands. Everyone knows she killed them. But apparently she got away with it. Well, I think it was because it was poison. And women tend to use poison. Because we're sneaky that way. We're also not strong. So when we murder, we got to be a little efficient. But if you think about it, we're a little sneakier in the best sense of the word. Because that's why women, I think, got away with so much murder back in the past. All her brothers died in swaddling clothes. Oh, dude, he's saying that she killed her brothers when they were babies. Yikes. 5, there were 6. They stood between her and the castle. So that is how she got the inheritance. She got rid of all the boys. She would whip the skin off any peasant who displeased her. But for you to cut one? Oh boy. Yeah, that's what he's saying here. It's like, she can do it, but not you. She will not suffer such an insult, make no mistake. She will come for you as she came for Lem. Dake, my lord, begging your lordly pardon. You knew him, and I never did, but his name was Dake. Then Dunk, being Mr. Nice Guy, says that he could go to Golden Grove and tell Lord Rowan of the dam. And who was Rowan? Why, he was the old knight's liege lord. The Red Widow had held her lands of him as well. Oh, this Red Widow. Very powerful chick. She does her stuff. She knows her stuff. Rowan, no. Look for no help there. Lord Rowan's sister, Red Lord Wyman's cousin, Wendell. So he is kin to the Red Widow. Everything was political, even marriages. To be honest, that's the way it's been more often than not, or what marriage was for necessity. Of course, if I'd have lived in this world, I would have been a silent sister. The same way if I'd have lived in the medieval world, I would have been a nun in a heartbeat. Besides, he loves me not. Yeah, didn't like him. Sir Duncan, on the morrow you must make the rounds of all my villages and roust every able-bodied man of fighting age, and we all get excited. I am old, but I am not dead. Damn right. The woman will soon find that the Checky lion still has claws. 2, thought Dunk. Dunk thought gloomily, and I'm one of them. Good times. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be done by some Shakespearean dude. And I can already see the memes that they're going to be able to say. Now, I think I give this dialogue 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up, good stuff. Now, I'm completely biased. If it sounds like I'm a simp for this work, I am. I am. It's some of his best work, if not his best work. Because The Song of Ice and Fire doesn't count till he finishes it. But what do you all think of The Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Please feel free to go ahead and say so. So he's putting Dunk on the job. And so the next part is going to be Dunk going around trying to rally people. Because, crap's going to be hitting the fan. Or is it? Well, we shall see. Definitely for Bowden. For Boding. This could possibly be the ending of an episode, or maybe the beginning. Sir Eustace's land supported 3 small villages. So, what is his land? Just some little villages, no more than a handful of hovel, sheepfolds, and pigs. The largest boasted a thatched 1-room sept with crude pictures of the 7 scratched upon the walls in charcoal. Mudge, a stoop-backed old swineherd who'd once been to Old Town, led devotions there every 7th day. Twice a year, a real septon came to forgive sins in the mother's name. The small folk were glad of the forgiveness, but hated the septon's visit all the same, since they were required to feed him. I can certainly relate to these, old churches that you might come across, and very simple pictures and scratchings on the walls that maybe a priest would come and everyone would go to confession and stuff. But, if you were poor and you had to feed them, that was an issue. So I love it that the guy who leads some devotions every 7th day, well, he'd once been to Old Town, so that is his claim to fame. But what a picture that he paints, just in one paragraph. And they weren't very happy to see Dunk and Egg. How dare they? Dunk was known in the villages, if only as Sir Eustace's new knight, but not so much as a cup of water was offered him. If they only knew how awesome he was, and who Dunk will become, and who Egg is and will become. But alas, they do not. So they're all out. Most of the men are all out working, they're saying, so that the people that they come across are women and children and living in hovels. So, I can just imagine this. It's going to be very realistic looking. Egg bore the Osgrey banner. How cute. The Checky lion green and gold. So I can just see him carrying it like, I'm going to be a good squire. This is what I'm supposed to do for Dunk, because Dunk is awesome and I am his awesome squire. We come from Standfast, with Sir Eustace's summons. Every able-bodied man between the ages of 15 and 50 is commanded to assemble at the tower on the morrow. Between 15 and 50. Is it war? Said one woman, and it said, with 2 children hiding behind her skirts and a bag sucking at her breast. Yeah, women would have children one after the other, often leading to early death. Is the Black Dragon come again? So they're thinking, yeah, another Blackfire Rebellion, the Black Dragon. And to be fair, that makes complete sense with all of this fuss. There are no dragons in this, black or red, Dunk told her. This is between the Checky lion and the spiders. The Red Widow has taken your water. So she's looking at Egg as he's fanning his face. She doesn't look too excited about it all. That boy got no hair. He's sick. It's shaven, said Egg. He put the hat back on, turned Meister's head, and rode off slowly. Yes, because people would have to shave their heads often when they were sick. It would bring down the fever, or at least so they believed. Also, if you had lice, you would have your head shaven, carrying disease or fleas. Oh boy. And Dunk is noting that Egg is being really cranky. And he hasn't even talked too much. And we all know that Egg likes to chatter and chatter and chatter. Are you angry that I did not take your part against Sir Bennis yesterday? He asked his sullen squire. I like the man no more than you, but he is a knight. You should speak to him with courtesy. I'm your squire, not his, the boy said. He's dirty and mean mouthed and he pinches me. And I love this next line. If he had an inkling who you were, he'd piss himself before he laid a finger on you. I would love to see that happen. Oh my goodness gracious. He would. This big snotty douchebag. He used to pinch me too. And Dunk is telling that to Egg. And that Duncan had kind of forgotten this. And we do forget these kind of things until a kid or someone brings it up. That back when he was a kid and Sir Arlen and Sir Bennis were, was it a party of knights hired by a Dornish merchant? Because that's what a hedge knight does, that they are, sworn to move around, not to necessarily to one lord. And they were seeing the merchant safe from Lannisport to the Prince's Pass. Dunk had been no older than Egg, though taller, and he means, gosh, this is awful. He would pinch him so hard he'd leave a bruise. What's with this abuse, man? This is terrible. His fingers felt like iron pinchers. Oh, gosh, more spider imagery. But I never told Sir Arlen. Yeah, maybe he should have. I think Sir Arlen probably would have punched him in the face as I want to punch him in the face. One of the other knights had vanished near Stony Sept, and it was brooded about that Bennis had gutted him in a quarrel. Here we go. This is where I love my Dunk, and my Dunk is amazing. If he pinches you again, tell me, and I'll end it. Ooh, I bet you he'll end it. He'll end it fast. And then he's telling him, but hey, other than that, get over it, kid. Just do what Sir Bennis tells you to do. And he's being all cranky now because Egg likes animals. He likes horses, and he's very indignant that Bennis doesn't seem to look after his horse. He doesn't clean his stall. And then he goes, he hasn't even named him. Some knights never name their horses, Dunk told him. That way, when they die in battle, the grief is not so hard to bear. That's a callback to the Hedge Knight. There are always more horses to be had, but it's hard to lose a faithful friend. Okay, can we sit and cry a little bit about all the faithful friends that died and that will die? Oh my goodness gracious. And he's saying that that's what the old man used to tell him, but he also points out that to himself that he still named all his horses. So it was one thing for the old man to say something, it was another for him to do it. We'll see how many men turn up the tower, whether it's 5 or 50, you'll need to do for them as well. I have to serve small folk? See, Egg is Egg, but he is still a prince. It's still in him. Oh, yeah, I got to serve small folk? What the hell? But also, it's like, dude, this is part of the deal when you went off with Dunk. So get over yourself. Not serve, help. We need to turn them into fighters. Woo! Training sequence. Maybe, maybe not. If the widow gives us time enough. If the gods are good, a few will have done some soldiering before, but most will be green as summer grass, more used to holding hoes and spears. And hoes as in HOES, not the other kind. Even so, a day may come when our lives depend upon them. How old were you when you first took up a sword? I was little, sir. The sword was made from wood. Common boys fight with wooden swords too, only theirs are sticks and broken branches. Egg, these men may seem fools to you. They won't know the proper names for bits of armor or the arms of the great houses or which king it was who abolished the Lord's right to the first night. That made me remember Fire and Blood, but treat them with respect all the same. What a lesson! You are a squire born of noble blood, but you are still a boy. Most of them will be men grown. A man has his pride, no matter how lowborn he may be. And Dunk is lowborn himself. I mean, come on. You would seem just as lost and stupid in their villages. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if he was dumped in there. And if you doubt that, go hoe a row and spear a sheep and tell me the names of all the weeds and wildflowers in Watts Wood. There we are. There we are. Wise Dunk. And then he's thinking, well, I could teach him all of these things. And it was Queen Alisan who convinced King Jaehaerys to abolish the first night. Little boy, he's taking things literally. Yeah, and good Queen Alisan. And they could teach me which weeds are best for making poisons and whether those green berries are safe to eat. So he's thinking, oh, we could exchange knowledge with each other. They could. But before you get to King Jaehaerys, you best help us teach them how to use a spear and don't go eating anything that Meister won't. So I'm giving this dialogue a 10 out of 10. And you know that this is going to be in it. Maybe they're going to be sitting drinking some ale, like those cute little scenes. Definitely that this is going to be a part of it. So you, but of course, Dunk is a little different. He's a little older. He's wiser after what happened in Ashford Field and more confident in his knighthood. Remember my theory, it's not even a theory, that even if he wasn't formally knighted and there's enough evidence to say he was not, that he became a knight during the Trial of Seven. The Trial of Seven was when he was knighted. Maybe not necessarily formally, but definitely the seven or whatever the universe made him a knight at that moment. A knight is how you behave. It is how you keep your vows. It is not necessarily based on a ceremony. So the next day, a dozen would-be warriors found their way to stand fast to assemble among the chickens. See, that's a good imagery. So it's, even though he's a lord, even though he has a castle, there's chickens. I mean, it's a very simple place. And he's got only 3 little villages. My goodness. So we have 12. 1 was too old. So now we have 11. 2 were too young. Now we have 9. And 1 skinny boy turned out to be a skinny girl. Now we have 8. But hey, why not? At least she was trying. And for the most part, women or girls that tried to be boys or tried to pass, and so they could fight, they were caught pretty quickly. Those Dunk sent back to their villages, leaving 8. What do you mean 8? Did I count that right? That's 4. Oh, 8. It is 8. Watts, 2 Wills, a Lim, a Pate, and Big Rob the Lackwit. A sorry lot. I like these guys. I think that these are going to be our next favorites in the next show. The strapping, handsome peasant boys who won the hearts of highborn maidens in the songs were nowhere to be seen. Yeah, that didn't happen. Each man was dirtier than the last. Lim was 50 if he was a day, and Pate had weepy eyes. They were the only 2 who had ever soldiered before. So at least they have some experience, and that experience can be used. They were with Sir Eustace in the Blackfire Rebellion, the same place where Sir Eustace lost his sons. The other 6 were as green as Dunk had feared. All 8 had lice. Yuck. Yeah. They couldn't go to the corner pharmacy to do something about that. 2 of the Watts were brothers. Guess your mother didn't know no other name, Bennis said, cackling. So we got 2 Watts with the same name. And as far as, the arms went, now they're going to be talking about what they have to fight. We have a scythe. I hope I said that right. 3 hoes, HOESs, an old knife, and some stout wooden clubs. Well, that's better than nothing. Lim had a sharpened stick that might serve for a spear. And one of the wills allowed that he was good at chucking rocks. Maybe that's going to come. Something's going to come of that. Hello, all of you coming in. Have you read this? What do you think season 2 is going to be like on the Night of the Seven Kingdoms? What did you see of season 1 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Did you think it was a good adaptation? Did you hate the jazz as much as I did? Let me know in the chat. Make yourself be known, good sirs and madams. And Dunk is, oh, yes. The dude, Wills, is good at chucking rocks. Well and good. Bennis said, we got us a bloody trebuchet. After that, the man was known as Treb. There we go. He's got a nickname because he can chuck rocks like a trebuchet. Good times. And Dunk is asking, okay, dudes, can any of you do something with a longbow, though? That might be good for us to have. And they're kind of being all evasive, and hens are pecking around. And Pate of the Weepy Eyes says, begging your pardon, my lord. Oh, begging your pardon, but my lord don't permit us longbows. Osgrade Deers is for the Checky Lions, not the likes of us. We're seeing some class stuff here. Because I guess they didn't want him taking his venison, his deer. Speaking of which, I am so going to make a venison stew when I get home. Yes, I am. And one of the boys is like, hey, do we get swords and helms and chainmail? And he is one of the youngest of the 3 Watts, rather, that said that. Why, sure you will, said Bennis, just as soon as you kill one of the widow's knights and strip his bloody corpse, which is more often than not how people would get their armor. Oh boy, what a jerk. And he goes, make sure you stick your arm up the horse's butt and find some silver. And then he pinches him. Man, I would be so mad at this guy. And then he marches a whole lot of them off to Wattswood to cut some spears. And when they come back, though, now they have 8 fire-hardened spears of unequal length, crude shields of woven branches. Hey, but that's better than nothing. Sir Bannis had made himself a spear as well, and he showed them how to thrust with the point and use the shaft to parry, and where to put the point to kill. The belly and the throat are best. And then he pounds his heart. Right there's the heart. That will do the job as well. Trouble is the ribs are in the way. The belly's nice and soft, getting slow but certain. Yeah, even today, if you get something in the belly, you are screwed. Never knew a man to live when his guts were hanging out. Oh boy. And then he says if someone turns his back on you, you're supposed to get in between the shoulder blades or through the kidney. So he's showing them what to do. So at least he's teaching them, even though he's a jerk. Having 3 Watts in the company caused confusion when Bennis was trying to tell them what to do. We should give them village names, sir, Egg suggested, like Sir Arlen of Penetry, your old master. That might have worked, only their villages had no names either. Yeah, it's so small they don't even have any names for their villages. And so Egg is like, well, then maybe we could do it for their crops. Like, what do they make? And so one of the villages is in bean fields, one barley corn, and another one cabbage, carrots, onions, turnips, and melons. No one wanted to be a cabbage or a turnip, so the last slot became the melon. So we have 4 barley corns, 2 melons, and 2 beans. As the brothers Watts were both barley corns, they're like saying, okay, so we need to do something else to make them differently. And the younger brother is talking about how he fell down the village well. Jeez, these boys. Dennis dubbed him Wet Watt, and that was that. The men were thrilled to have been given lords' names, said for Big Rob, who could not seem to remember whether he was a bean or a barley corn. But isn't it kind of cool that they're being named for what's important to their village? Again, the theme about the small folk and things being superior. Just like when Dunk was telling Egg, it's like, yeah, you had a special wooden sword that you were trained with, but these boys did too, but they just had to use sticks. Let's see. So once all of them had names and spears, Sir Eustace emerged from Standfast to address them. The old knight stood outside the tower door wearing his mail and plate beneath a long woolen surcoat that age had turned more yellow than white. Another image there. On the front and back it bore the Checky lion sewn in little squares of green and gold. Lads, he said, you all remember Dake. The Red Widow threw him in a sack and drowned him. She took his life, and now she thinks to take our water too, the Checky water that nourishes our crops. But she will not. He raised the sword above his head. For Osgray, he said ringingly. For Steadfast. Osgray, Dunk echoed. Egg and the recruits took up the shout. Osprey, Osprey, for stand fast. This is so cute and awesome in a good way. But there's also something in the back of all our heads. Is this going to end badly? So then they go ahead and start training them, and it says amongst pigs and chickens. And Sir Eustace is watching from one of the balconies that we already learned was in his tower. Sam Stoops had stuffed some old sacks with soiled straw. Those became their foes, so they're using them to practice their spears. And Bennis is giving them more advice. Things like you need to stick and twist and rip it free. Stick and twist and rip, but get the damn thing out. You'll be wanting it soon enough for the next one. Too slow, Treb. Too damn slow. If you can't do it quicker, go back to chucking rocks. Lim, get your weight behind your thrust. There's a boy. And in, out, in, out. F him with that. That's the way in. Rip him, rip him, rip him. So maybe we're seeing the usefulness. Yeah, we are seeing the usefulness of Sir Bennis. I just wish he wasn't so rude. I think of that song, and was it from Mulan? I never watched Mulan, but I know the song, I'll Make a Man Out of You. So when the sacks had been torn to pieces by 1,000 spear thrusts and all the straw spilled out on the ground, Dunk donned his mail and plate and took up a wooden sword to see how the man would fare against a livelier foe. In other words, our Dunk. Not too well, was the answer. Only Treb was quick enough to get a spear past Dunk's shield, and he only did it once. Yeah. Dunk turned one clumsy lurching thrust after another, pushed their spears aside, and bowled in close. Oh, sorry, just a second. All right, we're back. We had someone at the door. All right, so Dunk is saying if his sword had been steel instead of pine, he would have slain each of them 6 times. You're dead once I get past your point, he warned them. See, I think that he's going to be cooler doing the training. Treb and Lim and Wet Wat soon learned how to give ground at least. Big Rob dropped his spear and ran, and Bennis had to chase him down and drag him back in tears. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh boy. And they say that by the time they get to the end of everything, they're going to be bruised and they're going to be battered. I can see these poor guys. They're just going to have the hell beaten out of them. But that will be a good thing. That will be a good thing. So I'm looking this up. Yeah, Mom was saying that they're going to have crepes for breakfast. So we're going to figure that out. Because we endorse crepes here at Miss Martin Muses. Yes, we do. Dunk bore no marks himself, but he was half drowned in sweat by the time Egg helped him peel his armor off. Oh, and they don't have water, so they're going to stink. So as the sun was going down, Dunk marched their little company down into the cellar and forced them all to have a bath. Oh, okay, I guess they have some water. Even those who had had one just last winter. Yeah, they didn't bathe a lot back then. Afterwards, Sam Stoops' wife had bowls of stew for all. Oh, stew. I can imagine that. Thick with carrots, onions, and barley. The men were bone tired, but to hear them talk, every one of them would soon be twice as deadly as a King's Guard knight. Hell yes. Hell yes. And they could hardly wait to prove their valor. Sir Bennis egged them on by telling them of the joys of the soldier's life, loot and women chiefly. The two old hands agreed with him. Lem had brought back a knife and a pair of fine boots from the Blackfriar Rebellion. Yeah, I mean, check that out. He still has it, 15 years later. This shows you how poor they all are. To hear the boots were too small for him to wear, but he had them hanging on his wall. Man. And Pate could not say enough about some of the camp followers he'd known following the dragon. Yeah, camp followers are whores. So Sam Stoops gets them all 8 straw pallets in the undercroft. So, they're now in the Lord's service. So once their bellies were filled, off they all went to sleep. And then Bennis is giving Dunk, dang it, he's saying it with a big old look of disgust. Sir Useless should have effed up a few more peasant wenches while he still had a bit of sap left. Oh, that's terrible. Terrible. If he'd sowed himself a nice crop of bastard boys back then, might we'd have some soldiers now. The fact that he doesn't have a bunch of bastards shows that he was faithful to his wife. Aw. They seemed no worse than any other peasant levy. Dunk had marched with a few such while squiring for Sir Alan. Aye, said Sir Bennis. In a fortnight they might stand their own against some other lot of peasants. Knights, though, he shook his head and spat. Dun, dun, dun. And that is where we end. That is where we end. Again, I would give this very high marks. I don't know. I think this section definitely was a 9 out of 10. I found it really enjoyable. I really liked the training. I liked the imagery. I liked the theme of even though they're peasants, even though, they're not lords, they are training with sacks, they're training with sticks. They made their own sticks, for crying out loud. I mean, there's just so much good stuff that's in this story and the lessons that he's given, that Dunk is given to Egg about what makes a knight. I I like it. 2 thumbs up. All right. So, everyone coming in, what did you think? Have you been reading this? Should you be reading this? I think you should because it is good for you. It is good for you indeed. Let me see here. I think I'm going to just get plain crepes. So I'm going to be texting my dad. I get teased because we text and call each other here, but it's a pretty big condo. It takes up the whole floor of the building. That's why I'm kind of back here in my little corner. But Mom didn't text me for some reason. She came in and knocked to talk to me. But yeah, what did you think? What did you think of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Did you enjoy it? Are you enjoying what happens next? We know that Dunk is continuing to give Egg lots of advice, lots of stories, lots of, hey, don't get too proud of yourself. And even though, oh yeah, Dunk wanted to go off with the hedge knight, Dunk wanted to sleep in ditches and be with Dunk, and all that Egg wanted to, rather. But he's snobby. What do you mean? We got to be small folk and all that. And I like the way Dunk kind of shuts him down. He's very wise for his years. I believe at this point in book verse, he is 18 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm perfectly fine with the actor who played Dunk being older. They age up a lot of them, but he didn't. He did a good job of looking pretty young, to be honest. And we're going to need to see him, I believe, well into his 50s. Why, we have 12 people in the chat. Hello, it's so good to see you. Welcome. What did you think of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? What do you think about what is happening next? This adventure with the Red Widow. If you haven't read it, go ahead and read it, or read along with me as I review each section. I'm turning them into sections because they are not put into chapters. Maybe the original work is in chapters, but not the one that I have, because I have it all together in one work. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I don't know about Egg. Eventually, if they're going to want to bring Egg up to when he is king and all the way up to Summerhall, I think they're just going to have to recast. They're going to have to. The kid's not going to be old enough. If they do it every year, we'll see, what is it going to be? He's 11 now. He'll likely be 13 by the time they're done with season 3. So unless the next stories are going to be Egg being 15, 16 or so, I just don't think they're going to be able to do it if they're going to make him older, because we can't wait for the kid to grow up. What is it? Mom and I did the math. If we were going to wait to see just when he would be king, if it was going to be approximately the correct age, we're talking 15 years from now. It's just not going to work. But I think that we're definitely in the midst of all this going to be getting more flashbacks. I think that we're going to be getting... Actually, wouldn't it be cool if they did flashbacks like the way they did with Dunk and Arlen? So when Egg is like, oh, I trained with the sword, and then we get a scene of Egg training, maybe even with his brothers. I'm sure all the actors would be more than happy to fly into Belfast for a few minutes because, hey, it's money. Um, I think we're all hoping that we're gonna get a flashback with Makar, definitely with the ring and all that, because let's just be realistic. If Egg had run off, we know he would have hunted him down and done something about it. We saw how he hunted them down when they went missing during the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So definitely maybe a flashback or a telling where he does find them, gives them the ring and such, or lots of other theories about what ends up happening because he is not wearing the ring at the end. Look who it is. It is 2345. Put the kid on stilts. Yeah. Well, and the good news is a lot of actors are not very tall. They are not. They can't be. Um, so even though let's see, what is it? Dunk is 6'5". He towers over everybody. Again, when I've met a lot of actors, they are often smaller than me, and I am 5'5". It's just the way it works. So they could do it. I mean, he's a good enough actor, but I think we can forgive them for recasting. I mean, they just might have to. They might have to eventually. I mean, unless, they really just want to keep the rest of all their lives. I mean, this is definitely the role of a lifetime for Peter Claffey because, I mean, how many roles are there for someone that's a big old dude like him? He's definitely shown his acting prowess. Holy crud. And look at the chick who played Brienne. She basically was made for Brienne. And has she done anything since? And Stieg is commenting, tiny bastards. Yes, they are. They're tiny. Dunk is 6'11" and the actor is 6'5". Yes, that is correct. I did Google that. Yeah, we know he's 6'11" because his brother, rather Egg's brother, measured him. I think that is so cool. I can imagine him just being super nerd and being, "Can I measure you?" That would be so cool. Yeah, tiny little bastard. Well, who knows? Any second that kid can pop up. I mean, I have seen students like 6th graders. They go away for summer vacation. Next, they're taller than me. It's like, what happened? Boys grow really fast once they hit a certain age. So that's a possibility. I don't think his voice is going to change. Well, we know his voice hasn't changed because they're already halfway through filming season 2. And we know Dunk's going to have long hair. Let me see. What does Stieg says? Brienne actress was in Disney Star Wars as one of the plot holes. Yeah. What a waste of her, though. Yeah, so she could be a stormtrooper, a tall stormtrooper. But yeah, not just a plot hole, but a waste. They wasted everything. I too would ask to measure Friendly Giant. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Uh, it's cute. They've got to do that as a flashback. They must. Who would they cast as the younger version? Now, there is an actor who could be a slightly younger version of him. Mom and I and Dad were watching a show called New Tricks, and one of the actors, he's a Brit guy you've seen in 1,000 things. He could be Eamon as a 60-year-old, but that's well down the line. Maybe they're not even going to do it. I mean, of course, Game of Thrones crapped the bed, but if they could just sit around in this world, I think we'd all be perfectly happy. It's fine. It's doing well. And if George R. R. Martin ever finishes the books, I don't know. What do you think? Remember how they said a knight always finishes his story? Maybe that was a hint. Who knows? Or maybe it was just them being silly because we know that there was a lot of silliness that they all had when they were filming this. Who knows? Who knows? What do you think? I don't know. Do you think what some people want will happen, where they just totally reboot the whole Game of Thrones once A Song of Ice and Fire is done? Because we know it's gonna be a completely different story. I don't know. If you'd have asked me the same question, though, 3 years ago, I'd have said, "Oh, no way, no way, no way." way too soon. But look what they've done with Harry Potter. The Harry Potter movie franchise ended in 2012. It's now 2025 and they're already redoing it. Right now we have Game of Thrones into 2018. It's possible. But I'm not going to be one of those that's going to sit around and cope and say this is the plan. They're giving us Easter eggs that this is what they're going to do. No. Some hope to hang their hats on House of the Dragon for it. But we saw how it crapped the bed. First of all, just narratively in second season, but at the end where it literally went to the Khaleesi with the dragons, filmed from the back because they didn't have the actress obviously do it. And see what does Steve say. Another round of clickbait now. George is not in the mood to finish the books. Is that what you're seeing, or that's something we could do? Oh, I mean, he's not been in the mood to finish the books for 15 years. I think that it is useless to speculate too much. I mean, I'm speculating now, but the only person that knows is George. And I am a woman who knows them by their deeds. How do I know he's not doing it? Because he hasn't done it. It's like he's not that into you. If you've ever read the book about just spelling it out for women, if a man wants to date you, he will ask. He won't give you mixed signals. He won't do all this stuff. Now, men will do that if they're playing the field and they want to keep a woman on reserve and all that, but he's not that into you. If a dude is into you, he will ask you out. If a dude wants to marry you, he will ask you to marry him. I know it's a revelation for women, but that's another story. It's the same thing with George R.R. Martin. If he's into these books, he would have finished them yesterday. When I have written essays, when I have gotten on a roll, I would write for 15 hours straight. He can do it if he wants to. Okay, what does Steeg say? Here, let me get on my reading glasses. No, people are using it for clickbait today. Oh, dear me. Making the rounds claiming George said it yesterday. Did he? What did he say? Did he do another post in his whatever? All right. Well, look at his salty traveling sleeve. Good morning. What did I miss? Well, good sir, what you missed was we have a war with drought. We have a drought. And the Red Widow, who they have accurately cast, what a shock, a good shock, has dammed the water. And that means that all of the other people in the surrounding areas, especially in the Checky area, the Lord of Standfast, Sir Eustace, he can't have his water. And when I was in Iceland, somebody asked the tour guide, why aren't y'all in the EU? And he got real quiet. And then he said, like he was Braveheart speeching, he said, because the fish of Iceland belong to Iceland. And that is the way Sir Eustace is. So it was kind of epic. And they got some 8 people to fight and they started training them in a great training sequence. So that's what you missed. So also some good lessons that Dunk gave Egg. So we love Dunk and we love Egg. And it's been 2 years. So, of course, the brain will milk the GRM article. Well, dang it. Now I'm going to have to do it. I will milk it. But I don't think I'm a grifter because you can look through my channel. I have been doing this content for years. They're claiming George said I'm not in the mood to finish the books. Not being subscribed to. Okay, yeah, they're talking amongst themselves. Yeah. I'll look it up. Did he say it though? Because you know how they do headlines like they did with the headline where George R. R. Martin says there's plot holes in The Lord of the Rings and he never said plot holes. he just said the thing is like, hey, I wanted this, so I did that, or whatever. Yeah. Is it one of those kind of articles, or is it something he said? Because you know what? George R.R. Martin sometimes says some really retardando things. And so, you know what? When he does, he has it coming. Sometimes the dude just needs to keep his big mouth shut. Big mouth shut. Because for the most part, right now, the only words I want to hear coming out of his mouth is, here is the release date for The Winds of Winter. Oh, this is Twitter grifting, not YouTube, I think. Oh, same idea. Same idea. Indeed. You know how you know it's clickbait and trying to get revenue? They'll say, I like this movie, or which is your favorite movie? I'll go first. You tell me. Or this politician says this. What would you say to her? And of course, we all know the ultimate one. Oh, damn. There's some of those that are now starting to they're trying to pit J.R. Tolkien against C.S. Lewis, like Narnia against Lord of the Rings, which is ridiculous. Now, I have covered what happened between C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien, and it has nothing to do with their works. Now, can you find things where Tolkien has perhaps criticized, but that's not even the right word? It maybe, but they were doing two completely different things. But yeah, they're trying to pit them against each other. And we're going to see more of it as the Narnia show comes closer. They did it with Dune versus Star Wars a year or two ago. Yes, they did. Indeed, they did, Precious. Hello, everyone that is here. Let me know. What did you think of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms? What have you thought of the Sworn Sword? Now, Steve, I was pointing out all of the spider references in this. Spider references left, spider references right. I tried to explain the theory to my mother, but she just didn't have a concept of it. I think it's because she hasn't read the books, the Song of Ice and Fire books. But we shall see. I did give her little Iron Throne with the egg on it. I made a video. I might send it to y'all. She was so delighted by it. Of course, I'm not going to show her face or any privacy and all that because she's my mama. But yes, good time. She absolutely adored it. It's really cute because I'm not going to be able to finish an egg doll before I go back to Florida because she wants the egg so badly. I'm finishing up egg. Sorry, dunk. So yeah, I mean, criticize George R.R. Martin all day long for not finishing it. Maybe if you were a Mormon, he'd finish it because they're very disciplined, like the way Sanderson is. You have to write every day. One of these days, I'm going to get back into writing. I'm still adapting some of my essays into scripts. You know what I should do since I own it, if you will? The interview I did with Mark Isham. Oh my gosh, it was so epic. It was so epic. Yes, I interviewed Mark Isham. And I can put it up on my YouTube channel. Maybe I will do that. But I have some other essays that I will be, that I adapted. My Beauty and the Beast things. Some of those things under the lore, the music history ones, the Brothers Grimm, those are all essays that I had previously published. Because you have to write, even when you're writing an essay. Why, look who it is. It is Pacifica 414. And I am a bad girl. Salty Traveling Sea. Thank you very much for being a muser of House Rose. He is a member. Thank you very much. One of my first members he is. So, and yes, you will get shout outs and early access. I do have a video upcoming proving, in my humble opinion, almost to 1,000% that no, Dunk was not formally knighted using the text of the Hedge Knight. Now, I did see how Ira confirmed, said that in the story, they were teasing the whole was Dunk knighted, was he not? But by bringing him back to life, like in other words, that scene in episode 6 was not an explicit confirmation. He said that George wanted to keep it ambiguous. Now, in my humble opinion, does that mean that it means he was knighted? No, I believe that he feels if he made it explicit, it would take away from the themes that a knight is what you do, not what sword touched your shoulders. Hello, it is Noodle Man 4747. It is so good to see you. Yes, we endorse noodles also here on Miss Martin Muses. Whoops, did I get that? I did. Yeah, I want to make sure I thank everybody here who has been coming in the chat. Yeah, we had Klingon 23456. I think there's a lot of material that they're going to be able to use in the second season of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And please, if you want to, answer the question, what did you think of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? What parts did you like? What parts did you think sucked? See, let me see if I can bring up this comment here. It says, I really like the goose egg and bacon sandwich that Dunkin' Egg made. Hell yes. Don't we all? I'm going to make that sandwich when I get home, as well as the stew. Yeah, they had to end this talking about them taking hot baths, being snug in a castle, and then for crying out loud, bowls of stew thick with carrots, onions, and barley. Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes. I don't know. Can you get goose eggs? I don't know. Okay, everybody Google. But yeah, 2 thumbs up for the sandwich. The Squire is one of my favorite parts. Like, as an episode, well, definitely 3 and 4 were probably the best. If they hadn't done that ridiculous flashback, the episode 5 would have been the best. But the way I watch episode 5 is the way it should be. See, can you get goose eggs? I think you can in Ireland, but can you? Otherwise, I guess you just get really big eggs. I'm going to look in my city and see if it's available. I don't know. Oh dear. I know you can get venison. Well, I'm definitely going to get venison stew because I have the thing that Steve got me to make it. Yes, you can. Okay, you got to go to a poultry farm. Oh, dude. I'm going. Dang. Single goose eggs retail for around $5 to $10. Wow. Okay, there's a poultry. Okay, I'm going to go get goose eggs and then I will review it. Won't that be the coolest video ever? I will just recreate it. All right, what does Steve say? He says you can get goose eggs. It is what produces little goose children. I know, but I just didn't know if you could buy them. I don't know. Noodleman says, I believe that's how the sandwich is born in Westeros. Yes, we got the origin of the sandwich. Yeah. I know what I'm going to do when I get home. Hale. It's like, sorry, sister. No, I'm not going to go hang out with you and watch cool stuff. I've got to leave. Oh, yeah. By the way, we're going to be watching the movie. Steak, I'm ridiculous. Tell me what movie we're supposed to be watching in the chat so I can announce it too and so I can remember it. Can't believe I didn't. Yeah. Dad and I, we would like to watch serial killer stuff. That's how we bond. It's why whenever they catch serial killers, we're always like, we wouldn't have made that mistake because we know how to get away with it now. The Red Widow, the Magnificent Seven remake. Thank you. Yes. So for the Cowboy Campfire, which is a series that we do, Steve and I every month do a Western, and this will be for March. We are doing the Magnificent Seven remake. Now, for me, it's going to be a double feature because I need to watch the original. I bought it at the half price book, so yay! I'm going to be able to watch it on DVD. You know what else I ordered? Yes, I did, Precious. The HD or whatever 4K Ultra for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms that's coming out June 16th. I have already ordered it. I have pre-ordered it. It will be arriving in my hands and I will love it. I will get to see it in 4K. Yeah, for my 50th birthday, my birthday present, like from everybody. I was like, this is what I want. You know, just pitch in the dough, pitch in all of this. I got a huge 4K television and got mounted up against the wall over the fireplace in my living room, and also got an HD whatever thing. I forget the name of it. Uh, Xbox. So I play all my games in 4K, and I will be watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms in 4K. Noodleman says, "Weather. By the way, what's your thought for season 3 for House of the Dragons?" I thought it's dead on arrival. It shit the bed so badly in season 2, went right off the rails. I mean, first of all, they fumbled Blood and Cheese. What an idiot. And no, the writer's strike didn't do that. Everyone says, "Oh, the writer's strike, the writer's strike." No. And they totally changed Damon's trajectory. They just had him doing nothing. They totally cucked him. They had Alicent completely ruined, and now they were doing Wicked, the second act of Wicked. If you've seen the musical and definitely in the movie, everything that they did was straight out of Wicked, and I'm still thinking that's the way the ending of it's going to be. They're going to not have Rhaenyra meet her fate. They're going to fake her death, and then they're going to say, "But Alicent can never know," and all of that. They cut Nettles. No Nettles. So that's going to completely change the ending for Damon. So it's dead on arrival. Did you see, though, how they used Dunk and Egg to promote it? They filmed them watching the trailer. I mean, well done. Well played, HBO. It was kind of cute, though, because Egg's like the actor who plays Egg. Dexter is all, I haven't watched these. I don't think he's allowed to. He didn't even know which was which. 2, 3, 4, and 5 says, "I feel Dunk and Egg was a pun on Egg and Soldier Recipe. The fact that Egg has a shaved head is a proof of it." Oh. Could be. Yeah. And of course, Aegon, and we know from the original story, it was in the books from the Song of Ice and Fire books and in the TV show, of course, it is Egg, head shaped like an egg. That goes to all the Varys stuff. What does Steve Kenobi says? They cut Nettles because they had already race swapped a female character and they had thereby filled their quota. Not kidding. I actually believe it. I think that they are more They are more racist than they are coming off as. They're saying, "Look, we're not racist. Look what we did." It's like they thought that you could just take one black female character and interchange it with another one. And Nettles is canon. She's canon black, for crying out loud, and she is the coolest character. Like, all the time that they spent fleshing out the other, bastards, the other dragon seeds could have been given to Nettles' development. Like, how cool would that have been? And you cannot interchange the Valerian girls with Nettles. I think that part of the reason they don't also want to do the whole Nettles story is because it makes Rhaenyra look bad, and you can't have that, which I think is also sexist. Women can be bad, just like men, because we're both human. And the idea that you have to turn women into saints, you know what? That is actually a rather old-fashioned, if you will, kind of sexist thing that was going on back in the past, that women are naturally good and all that. So when people like Jane Austen and then definitely the Brontes wrote the characters they did, it was like wild. It was radical because basically it showed women being women. Little Women, the book, also did the same. So to go backwards, they're going backwards by making women, oh, they're all good. No, women are women. My gosh, how compelling would it have been if they'd have been faithful to the work? Imagine what Blood and Cheese would have been like if they'd have done it right, if they'd done Helena right. All we know is that George is so disgusted, he outright came and said it. It was unprofessional, yes, but apparently he gives 0 clucks. And that's how bad it is, because he didn't say the same thing about the first season, which also had some problems. But man, we know it's going to be bad. and some of the spy photos that are coming out, they're gonna do some really stupid stuff with Darren the Daring. Yuck. Noodleman, you think they'll add Gray Ghost? I think they'll add whatever they want except for what the story is that George R. R. Martin wrote. Um, we know that they have original characters. They have an original female character, an original Baratheon, and I think did they add a woman Baratheon? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. Ugh. They'll do whatever the hell they wanna do. The only character they kinda haven't ruined is my gosh, the Kingsguard dude. Sounds like they're gonna do a good job with him. They kinda cucked the Lannister guy. The Lannister twin, though, maybe? Maybe it'll be okay. Uh, who knows? Who knows? I'm doing this here. Did I get everybody? Yeah, what do y'all think? I didn't even watch the trailer for House of the Dragon. Didn't they kinda hint, though, with Damon, Matt Smith doing that cool song? I don't know. I don't know. If they we'll see. I think I'm gonna enjoy roasting it. Hate watching is probably the wrong word. I don't even know if I can. Like, it got so bad in season 2, when it got to episode 8, I didn't even really watch it. I just kinda saw what people were saying. Yeah, what do you all think about what they've done with, House of the Dragon? What a lost opportunity. In hindsight, though, it was DOA the minute they made them friends. Again, it was Glenda and Wicked. Glenda and Elphaba. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And for all you men that have not seen Wicked, just read a summary and you tell me that that's not what they were trying to do with the two characters. They should have had it that they were the proper age, that Alicent was much older. What she was about 10 years older at least. And aren't they good enough writers to not worry about the wicked stepmother trope because it really wasn't? Oh, because what they did with Viserys was really good. I'm completely with George R. R. Martin on that. Some people misunderstand because they fleshed him out. He was a great actor, and he had, like, that cool moment when he kinda stumbled up to the throne. They think that that makes him a good person, but no, I don't think the show said that at all. The show kept saying over and over and over again the mistake that he made, like the thing with Hightower when he would told Alicent in the first season that the Rhaenyra is not the heir to the throne, that Aegon is gonna be the heir. Everyone knows it except for Viserys. The second that child was born, boom, he's the king. Male primogeniture. And the reason why it was an issue, say, for example, in the Anarchy, which is in many ways what it is kind of based on, is it wasn't as clear because the guy who took the throne from Queen Matilda, or Empress Matilda, as she's sometimes called because she was married to an emperor, it was her cousin. It wasn't her brother. If Stephen had been Matilda's brother, that would have been the end of it. But it was a cousin. It was over before it began. Did it suck to be a woman back then? Yes, it did. But you know who else it sucked to be back then? A man, just in different ways. I think that's what I like about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They really played that up. It definitely sucked to be a man if you were a peasant, as we've seen in some of this story here, what we just read. Definitely sucked to be a man. Sucked to be a woman too. I mean, yeah, women died in childbirth. It wasn't fair, but men also died when they got cut. I have opinions. I mean, men did have, in my opinion, a responsibility to their women. Don't get him pregnant. And I don't have to tell you how you don't do that. But abstinence is one way to do it. I know it's not nice, but that's one way they could have done it. They didn't have to keep getting their wives pregnant. But yeah, it sucked to live back then. There were many ways to die, and many men did. They would get conscripted if you were a man. It was just a different kind of death. That's another thing that season 1 House of the Dragon did right when the mother says, "This is our battlefield." And it is, and women did die on the battlefield. The difference between what they did in the TV show House of the Dragon and what happened in Fire and Blood, it wasn't Emma that died like that, but it was I forget which one of the queens. And she was the one who chose it. But they had to change it to make it the man. No, she chose to have the baby the way that it happened in House of the Dragon. Who is here? Oh, wait. Steeg says, House of the Dragon, Disney, Star Wars, The Witcher, and Rings of Power can't possibly get any dumber. Oh, be careful. Be careful. If what I'm seeing is going to happen, it's going to get dumber. You forgot The Wheel of Time. I think The Wheel of Time is the winner. I read The Wheel of Time, loved it. Okay, what is being said here? It is Noodleman. My favorite part in Trial of 7 is Duncan just slapped Arian. Hell yes! Hell yes, the bitch slap. Oh, man. And can you imagine how much that would hurt that monster with steel, whatever he has in his hands? I don't know armor. I know women's clothes, though. Boom! And then he took the shield. Yeah, that was amazing. Like I said, if you watch it all straight through, but cut that flashback when you get to episode 5. It's some damn good television. Damn good television. And then maybe see the flashback as a side quest, like something you look up on the web, like a webisode. The Wheel of Time got canceled, so the chemo worked in that case. That's true. Yeah. I think they're putting all their money into the Rings of Power because goodness knows how much they paid. What is it? Isn't it like $500,000, $1 billion? What? I mean, it's worse than when you go to the casino and you just see dollars and hundreds of dollars just being sucked away into the house. That's what they're doing. Amazon. Oh my gosh. I think that their plan was they were gonna remake the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think that's where they're going, to be honest, with this stupid Hunt for Gollum. My gosh, how ridiculous that's gonna be. Yes. Noodleman says, Arian is trained and knows how to fight, but Duncan has that flea bottom experience and grit. Damn right. Yeah, he said that this is no longer Sir Duncan the Tall, it is Duncan Flea Bottom. Yeah. And when you watch the fight, I've seen some analysts point this out, that Arian kind of had the upper hand because he had all the technique and the skill and all that, and he had his dad sitting there doing all of it too. But the second Dunk got an opening, it was over. Good stuff. Good stuff. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to have to stop now because breakfast or lunch is going to be happening. And then got to go do some work. Earning my keep over here. What does Steeg say? Next. Help me out. What's next? Did we miss a type thing? Okay. So as we're getting that from Steeg, I am doing my duty as a woman who is a woman of her word because I love Sir Duncan. I'm a knight. No, I'm a lady who keeps her vows. I would so be able to do and analyze all the clothing. Unfortunately, I'm sure that would not be the thrill of all your lives to have me do that. Withdraw my accusation. Oh, and he dragged him by the foot. He dragged him by the foot, for crying out loud. I loved it. What a little prick. And Makar was played so well, where you just see his He's like the most beleaguered single dad in Westeros. And it's so easy that they could have written it like, oh, bad. But no, they showed the nuances of what they're all facing. All right, what I'm putting in the chat, this is part of what you will get if you become a member for 99 cents. Not only does it help me to make more content, it also, you know, is a chance for you to get a shout out. I only have one perk, which is 99 cents, because this is all that I believe that I can offer, to be fair. But yes, see, Prophet of the Dragon, he has an interview with Jim Butcher of the Dresden Files. That is the ultimate get on the planet, except for my get when I got Mar Isham. Let's see, what does Steeg say? Tomb Raider is the next retardation coming out of Amazon. Yeah. 2345 says, but what did the writer mean by this next? Am I missing something? Let me see. All right. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Sometimes I have to have things spelled out for me. So Salty Traveling C, he's a member. Yay, go subscribe to him. Go subscribe to Prophet of the Dragon. Check out his Jim Butcher interview. I can't watch it yet because I don't want any spoils. Norporeal Lifeform is a member as well. Thank you very much for being a member. I have Snortopupus Kubur. We love Snortopupus Kubur and everyone, but definitely we love our animals here at Miss Martin Muses. Thank you. And I will be getting other people's Twitters in here. And I'm working on it. So we have Snortopoops Kubur. We also have Sean Sue, and we have Deeple 101 as members. Thank you very much for being a member. We have the Wolf Heart 79, Stunning and Brave Megatron, Terra Crystal, Punk Waddle, Rose Baggins. So yay! I believe yeah. We love Lord of the Rings here in Miss Smart Muses. We will have to wait to the next installment of at Steeg. I see. Oh, gotcha. I believe I have it. And if I don't, well, you know what? Sometimes I can be a little retardado. But you know what I'm not about, which is music. I love music. One of these days, I am going to be finishing what they're really saying in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I call it Close Encounters of the Soulfish Find. So if you want to see a little bit behind Soulfish, I do have that as one of my videos. I think it's under lore because it's definitely lore. If you know how to read music, it is all due to Guido d'Arezzo. So yes, music is my thing. So is history. Upcoming, more Wuthering Heights. I will be doing more Wuthering Heights. I will be doing the Cowboy Campfire with Steeg. We are going to be doing the Magnificent Seven remake. What else? Oh, anything that comes to mind, anything and everything, of course. I'm doing more Letters of Tolkien, but they are going to be they're going to be showing up on my Catholic channel. So if you like Catholic content, let me go ahead and put that in there because he definitely, of course, had loads of things to say about Catholicism and his works. So if it is something that is Catholic, I will put that letter over on Catholic Splaining as opposed to putting it in this channel, though there are some Catholic Splaining here. So let me go ahead and put this in the chat if you want that. Well, wow, look who it is. It is none other than Biggles Metz. He is here, and he has become the newest member. He is the... Holy shit! He is the newest muser of House Rose. And he has gifted not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7, but 20 Miss Martin muserships. Wow. Biggles, you're great. Everyone subscribe to Biggles. And so, welcome to my new members, Left Eye Ego, Anthony Anarchy, Eric RAF, Demogeny. Thank you for being here. Brandon Glass, Gotham City Arcade, Kai MFSS, Benzo 2090, JD33109, Joey 101 UK. Gosh, I need to get my glasses. Starfurry 0001, Brucey 6303, George Peter Gatsis, Mark Monkey Max, Black Live 69. Well, thank you. Not Brian. Thank you. Baggins and Backshees. Why So Serious? Little Bull Poet and Creator TV Verse. Thank you very much. Holy moly. Thank you for your support. Everyone go and subscribe to him. Biggles and I with Steph the my talk nerdy with us, or rather my nerdy home, we did a lot on the Once Upon a Time reviews. I also did it with some of my other friends. Some people from the Once Upon a Fan staff have also appeared on those, but definitely Biggles, where you can see us talking. He does not like Snow White. He does not. So thank you very much. What else do we have here? Noodleman 4747 says, I kind of get why Lionel called Baylor a fraud. He had nothing to lose, really. Well, nothing to lose but his life. I like it, though, because it's in character for Lionel, but it is also, what is it also? It made us all think, didn't it? I mean, it might have been strategic and all that, but I think that the actor points out pretty accurately what's going on. He couldn't stand to see the bully win. He did everything he could to stop it all from going down. And he stepped in at the last minute. He did not have to. He could have not stepped in and he would have lived. And he didn't. I mean, it was very unexpected. He wasn't supposed to die, considering who he is. He's Baylor Breakspear. But I do see Lionel's point, gives us food for thought. But at the end of the day, if he wanted to risk nothing, he wouldn't have done it. Now, I mean, look at what it cost. Because every time you go into a trial of 7, you're going to risk dying. Now, of course, part of what he wanted to do with the night people, he wasn't doing that, in my humble opinion, to be a coward. It was a strategy. He's like, dudes, if I step in, you're safe from safe from the guards. You're safe from them, the King's Guard rather, and even the book where is that honorable, and I think was it Lionel that said it in the book? I think it was. So the question is there. He's like, well, the gods will decide. Didn't he say that? Let me see. Oh, man. I love it when they say, what is it? It's no secret that Arian is a bad piece of work. Thank the gods he's well down in the order of succession. Oh, damn. Oof. Let me see. I'm trying to find the quote. Here it is. He comes in, and because Prince Baylor said, this man protected the weak as every true knight must. Let the gods determine if he was right or wrong. And he calls Raymond Sir. Let's see. He says, attend to me, all of you, Baylor said quietly. The accusers will be armed with heavy lances for the first charge. Lances of ash, 8 feet long, banded against splitting and tipped with a steel point sharp enough to drive through plate with the weight of a war horse behind them. And then he tells them, no, I'm going to give you the strategy where we will arm ourselves with tourney lances instead. Tourney lances are made to break, objected Raymond. They are also made 12 feet long. If our points strike home, theirs cannot touch us. Aim for helm or chest. So he was coming in to save these guys' lives. And let's see, that might be my mother. Is that my mother knocking? It is not. It is the wind. We've had a lot of wind here. In a tourney, it is a gallant thing to break your lance against a foe's shield, but here it may well mean death. If we can unhorse them and keep our own saddles, the advantage is ours. If Sir Duncan is killed, it is considered that the gods have judged him guilty and the contest is over. If both of his accusers are slain or draw their accusations, the same is true. Elsewise, all 7 of one side or the other must perish or yield for the trial to end. Prince Darren will not fight, said Dunk. Not well, anyways, laughed Sir Lionel. Against that, we have 3 of the white swords to contend with. Baylor took that calmly. My brother erred when he demanded that the King's Guard fight for his son. Their oath forbids them to harm a prince of the blood. Fortunately, I am such. He gave them a faint smile. Keep the others off me long enough, and I shall deal with the King's Guard. My prince is that chivalrous? Asked Sir Lionel Baratheon as a Septon was finishing his invocation. The gods will let us know, said Baylor Breakspear. Yeah, they gave that line to Lionel. In the book, it was to, or rather in the show, they gave it to the bees guy. The Beesbury died in the first joust. Yeah, poor guy. Poor bastard. I think he was coming to save their lives. And again, not letting a bully win. Who knows? Maybe he hoped Arion would die. Wouldn't you love to have gotten a point of view from Baylor? Egg wasn't the only one who wanted to turn him into a sister. Whew, either way, nothing will ever be the same. Nothing. Wow. Good times. Okay, I gotta wrap up this party because we got things to do. We got breakfast to be had. But I want to give a massive thanks to everyone that has been in the chat. You are MVPs. Let me give the shout out here. We have Noodleman 4747. We have Steve Kenobi. We have Salty Traveling Sea. We have 2345. We have Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Did I get everyone? Yes. And then, of course, we have Biggles becoming a new member. Thank you for being a member, and massive thank you for all of the 20 memberships, and welcome to all of the new members of House Rose, the members of a muser. You are all now musers. So please muse away. And there is no bad opinion here on Miss Martin Muses. They're just wrong. No, I encourage free speech. And one way that you learn, this is part of my tradition, is devil's advocate. If you want to really have fun and let your brains explode, read St. Thomas Aquinas. He won by always being the best devil's advocate. So before anyone could argue against him, he always came up with a better argument against him. And so I am all for talking. I'm all for intellect. Did I give the link? I think I forgot to give you all the link to the Catholic channel. Let me see. I think I did. I'm ridiculous. I think I got distracted. No, I did give Catholic explaining. So that's where you're going to get some Catholic stuff, because that's what I like to talk about. And that's my bread and butter. Though I did retire. Isn't it nice? A girl was able to retire at like what? From her dreams. I achieved all of my dreams by the time I was 23. So I'm like, oh, great. What do I do with the rest of my life? With my writing career peaked at 23, and my music career peaked a few years earlier than that. I won't talk about my writing career because, reasons, but I don't think you won't be able to trace who played in an orchestra at Carnegie Hall. I mean, I got that experience too. So it's like, okay, there goes my classical career. Can't do better than that. I'm very blessed. And I'm very blessed to have all of you here. And if you are of the praying type, please continue to pray for my family. Things have sucked, but we are blessed that we actually like each other in my family, and we are able to help each other out. And that I am in such a situation that I am able to donate my time and be able to help and support people. I've got only one more day here. I'm going to miss my family so much. Miss my mama. We've had so much fun. We've been watching Outlander. It is so good. We laughed our butts off. I don't think we were supposed to laugh, but it's been amazing. So in any case, please stay tuned for more of my dolls. Maybe I'll be definitely making a video on that, making more cooking. Tomorrow is the 26th of February, so stay tuned for the breaking of the fellowship. And of course, Stieg is a regular guest here. He is doing a lot of things on Mara J's channel. So please subscribe to Jade. Mara Jade's channel. What is it? Jade Shadow. All right. And anyways, really got to go. We got crepes here. First world problem. When a girl has crepes, we endorse crepes here at Miss Martin Muses. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain to read good literature. Don't read or induce or eat any crap. Don't let anyone tell you have to watch something that you don't want to watch. And as always, be excellent to each other.